Roger Daltrey, 50 Cent, Meatloaf, Rusted Root, all unbelievably talented acts have performed in the theater that we're currently in, the space that we're in at Mr. Small's Theater, and now they've really just taken a giant dump on the place because it's the Mike Sasson Show, broadcasting live on Facebook Live, but also we are also on the next day, Tuesday at 9 a.m. doing our regular spot on the River's Edge, still going strong no matter what fire can bring you. My name's Mike Sasson. I am your host. And over there is Alex Clemens, the producer extraordinaire. Today, we are going to talk about the Millvale Studios fire. I'm in my car driving. I live only maybe about 5-10 minutes away from where we are right now. And I get a call from Alex. Now, that's not typically a good thing when you're getting a call from your producer about maybe 20 minutes before you're going to go live.
Why isn't that a good thing? I'm a nice person.
I know you're a nice person.
Hey, yeah. Mike, I just can't wait to see you.
That's never happened in the history of time that you've called me up with anything other than horrible news. I'm on 28. I get the phone call. And it's Alex on the other end. And so I go, hey, what's up, Alex? And you go, hey, are you close to the studio? And I go, I'm only maybe about 3-5 minutes away. And and you sit there and she goes, yeah, don't bother. The studio's on fire.
I figured that was, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have run down all of the things that I thought I would hear on the way to
just
recording
don't bother.
that. Yeah, just don't bother.
It's fine.
But I felt terrible. I mean, first off, I was, hoping that no one was hurt. I hope no one was, injured. But also, I felt terrible for Brian because Brian, the godfather of the River's Edge, has put his heart and soul into this. If you don't know about Brian, you've never met Brian, he's a great guy. This whole thing started in his closet and now has grown into, 10,000 some odd listens a month, and obviously giving me and Alex an opportunity to do internet radio and all the great shows that there are on the River's Edge. I felt for him because this is his life. And so I'm figuring all of this stuff is going up in smoke. So I actually show up to...
Well, not even just him. I mean, there's so many artists that are in that building that's where they keep all of their supplies. That's where they keep all of their art. And all of that stuff was completely destroyed.
Now, if you're on Facebook Live, I have a couple pictures that I sent Alex. One was...
So the first picture is what we basically... Well, what Mike walked into, because I was already there. Is basically the back of the building, and when I walked up, there was just a little bit of smoke coming out, and then we opened the door, and you could see the flames inside. So this is the back of the building. You can see all the firefighters, but you can't really see how bad it is. And then the front of the building, also can't really see how horrible the inside is. But I mean, obviously we weren't allowed in the building, but you can see there were so many firefighters there. Probably, like hundreds. There's people from every borough around Millvale that came.
Yeah, that's what it means when they say 5-alarm fire or 3-alarm fire. It means they get 3 fire companies or whatever. Now, the one thing that shows just what type of people me and Brian are and how much we love the River's Edge and we want people to know about it, when we're sitting in front of our studio, watching it burn, watching firefighters come in, obviously this became a big news story. So actually all 3 local affiliates set up right in front of me and Brian. And so I whispered to Brian, hey, Brian, you should see if you could get on TV. And Brian goes, well, how am I going to do that? And there was actually a group of people that were recording in Millvale Studios. So I said, go grab them, get them. And just so you know, that's how that's how Brian is and I am. How much publicity we wanted for this entity, because it never stopped. The local music never stopped. That's one thing that Brian's proud of and I'm proud of, is that the local music never stopped, and we were able to continue to do that. Now we did obviously take a hiatus last week from the Mike Sasson Show, but we're back this week. But we were able to get on all of the major affiliates. We were able to obviously have stories in the Post-Gazette and the Tribune Review and all that other kind of good stuff. So, we had that. Now, the one thing that also warmed my heart was how many different people in the podcast and internet radio communities here locally reached out to me and Brian, talked to us about, hey, if you need space, if you need all this kind of stuff. And that's why we're here. Mr. Smalls, a landmark in Millvale. It's such a landmark. We actually, if you've ever seen, our intro video that Alex did, it starts out with me running down the steps of Mr. Small's Theater, because we knew that that's where you had to be, because if we wanted to indicate that, hey, we're in Millvale and it's a landmark that people have visited, you had to go to Mr. Small's Theater. Well, the people from Mr. Small's reached out to Brian and said, hey, if you want or you need a place to keep doing your stuff for the next couple weeks, mi casa, su casa. Go in there. So that's why we're actually in the kitchenette. That's what I would think I'd call this. We're in the little kitchen of the recording studio. And as I mentioned before, I mean, I've always been interested in coming here because everybody's always interested in how music gets made, and obviously the River's Edge is always about local music and about music in general. And to think that in that, I'm looking at a place where some of the biggest names in the history of music performed and recorded. And so it's really cool that we're here. So I guess the lesson in life is, no matter what actually, occurs, because we were just talking about it as we were setting everything up. A week ago at this time, we had no idea when we'd be able to do another Mike Sasson show. We had no idea when we were going to be able to do another one of these shows, or if we were ever going to be able to do one of these shows again. And now we were able to. And another thing that kind of wowed me, Alex, was how many people watched our video from outside the theater. I mean, it's something close to like 1,600 views of just you and me standing outside of a fire truck basically saying, hey, sorry, we can't do a show.
People like sad things.
People like sad things. Well, then why aren't they... They should watch me in general. You
know what I think the craziest thing about it is?
What's up?
Is the smell of these microphones. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it smells like...
We just grilled.
Yeah, it's something we're going... Actually, the cameras that I'm looking into right now on top of it are a little melted.
Yeah.
From the heat of the fire.
I was wondering, I thought that I figured because our windows open a little bit, I thought that was what the smell was coming from. And then I realized when I put this microphone close to my face, nope, just fire remnants.
But that's what we do. We keep performing, Alex. That's what performers do. They keep performing.
Kind of makes me hungry for some steak.
You know what? That's the kind of girl Alex is. She always makes sure that she has her priorities in order. One other thing to bring up: a couple weeks ago, we talked about the new looks. You talking about you had your you go with the blonde hair, and we did a couple looks for guys over 40.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed this.
I obviously noticed.
But I got a little bit of a haircut.
Yeah, it doesn't look too much different than what you normally get.
Yeah, thank you for
You're welcome.
Thank you for really crapping on.
I mean, you can't really do
Yeah.
There's only so many things you can do with short hair.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks nice.
Thank you. Looks clean. I look like I'm a retired drill sergeant.
Because your hair was getting long before.
Yeah, I was.
Yesterday when I saw you, I was like, "Whoa, what is Mike doing with his life?"
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, you did.
I was thinking it a little bit.
Yeah, you were thinking. You were thinking, what is... I think in general, most people are thinking, what is Mike doing with his life? And the answer is, I have no earthly idea. That's really what the answer is. The other thing that you notice if you're listening to this on the River's Edge is the fact that because these microphones can pick up a fly farting basically in Sharpsburg, any movement we're doing, you think it's here. We had to unplug the refrigerator because it was making such a noise. So if you hear little things, that's Alex doing her work to make sure that we're maintaining a level of professionalism. Speaking of Alex, we're going to get to the next segment. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to talk Alex, bar thoughts and experiences. You know what? It didn't matter that there was no show last week. It didn't matter that the Millvale studios went up in flames. Alex still drank and wrote down what she was thinking. It's the Mike Sasson Show on the River's Edge. We'll be right back.
Hey, listen up for some sweet pizza discounts. The River's Edge is partnering with Frank's Pizza and Chicken to offer you 10% off your ZA. That's short for pizza.
Seriously? Za?
What?
Anyway, mention you heard this ad and Frank's will give you 10% off your order of $15 or more.
Oh my god, have you tried their famous buffalo chicken pizza?
Oh, don't even get me started. Can you name all 4 Frank's locations?
Millville, obviously. Troy Hill, Shaler, and North Hills.
Gold star. Anyway, support the River's Edge Radio Network by ordering from Frank's Pizza and Chicken the next time you get hungry for some za. And don't forget to mention you heard this ad so you get your 10% off. Go to frankspizzachicken.com for more info.
Offer good for a limited time. Order must be $15 or more before taxes. Cannot be combined with other discounts or offers. Other legal jargon and whatnot.
It's the Mike Sasson Show live on the River's Edge. You can listen to the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com or on TuneIn Radio, or you can watch it on Facebook Live or on the Mike Sasson Show Facebook page, or on my personal Facebook page, Mike Sasson, again, spelled Sasson. Also, you can find all of the great, beautiful podcasts and radio programs from Brian and Gike's Got Game and Funny Money and all that kind of stuff at www.riversedgepgh.com. Also, what you can find is, of course, Alex drinking and telling you what she's thinking. You know what? There you go. Drinking and tell you what she's thinking. It's Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Do we have the theme song?
Yeah.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it. About to open up a can.
Where are your dance moves, Mike?
You have told me I can't move. I can't put things on tables.
No, you can dance back.
Okay.
You can just,
I know.
flail your arms around.
Flail my arms
Just
around.
don't hit the table.
Just don't hit anything. That's the problem. I'm covered in wires. I don't want to hit.
At least you don't have a computer in front of you. I have 2 computers in front of me.
I know, but this is why you're producer extraordinaire. This is why you make the big bucks.
This is why you're a talent.
I'm the talent. I'm the man with, the immense amount of God-given ability. And what you do is you do your best to make me look at least somewhat presentable to human beings. It's a tremendously difficult and mostly futile job, but you do it as well as you can. That's really what this is all about. But you know what you excel at? Drinking and writing stuff down. Alex, Bar Thoughts of Experiences. Tell everybody what you were thinking.
So this was a couple weeks ago since we haven't done a show for a little while, but I was drinking one night and I thought about how I want to start doing magic. I feel like there are not enough women that do magic. I don't want that to make me sound like a feminist.
What's wrong with sounding like a feminist?
I don't know. I just don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to lie to people.
Okay.
But I feel like there's just not enough. Like you always see those videos. Like I want to do magic only to pick up men.
Okay.
That's the only reason I want to do it. Like you always see those videos of guys doing stupid magic tricks and somehow women are like fascinated by them and then they want to date them.
Okay. Yeah, morons.
Somehow that happens. Yeah. But that's what I want to do now. I'm gonna learn just not a ton of tricks, just a couple ones that I can put under my belt that then I can pick up men with.
Do you really think that that'll work with men?
I don't know. Do you really think that would work with women? I mean, you wouldn't think that would work. To me, it wouldn't work. I'd be like, you're a loser. Don't show me a magic trick.
But it goes back to like this. There's certain things that sometimes, if women like for instance, there's always the thing that like, okay, if a guy is smart and funny, then women like it. But if a woman is too smart and funny, then guys might not think it's the greatest thing in the world. If you were to essentially they call it a magic trick for a reason. It's a trick. You are fooling somebody into believing something.
Yes.
Do you believe that men, if a woman would come up to him and go, hey, you think one thing, ha ha ha, here's actually what happened. Do you think that would actually impress the man?
Well, I don't think that we'll know until we try.
Now, I will say this. I cannot think of a female magician.
Right?
I mean, obviously, they're usually the assistant.
I didn't look any up or anything, but off the top of my head, you can think of all of the famous male magicians, but you can't think of very many women or any at all.
I love you had 2 weeks to prepare for this. You just couldn't Google female musicians.
There was fires and stuff on my mind,
I know. Seriously, we're anything
all
that happens.
And really, all I was thinking about is what magic tricks would I do?
What magic tricks would you do?
Should I saw someone in half?
But you can't do that in a
Should
bar or
I fake
a club.
saw someone's penis off and then be like, just kidding, here you go?
Again, that would not work. That would not help.
You don't think that would?
Did you see the look I just gave you?
Be good for men?
No, absolutely not. No, if you're
I
going
think
to impress,
it's a good idea.
If you're going to impress someone, you have to do something that's quick and painless. That's why everyone loves card tricks. That's why everyone loves the the quarter is behind your ear type stuff.
My last magic trick is that I make them erect.
I don't know if that's a magic trick. I mean, that's just natural human. I mean, if you could make a man by just looking at him, snap him, and then you would just,
exactly. That's the magic trick.
No, and just ejaculate like that, like that.
That's a lot. Like that's a lot to do, like in front of people. Mm-hmm. Then you just embarrass the person, and then they wouldn't want to be with you.
But if you sit there and just make a man erect, all you have to do is just kind of like wear something provocative, and then you're like, haha, it's magic.
I think I could do it better.
Okay.
I'm just shitting on all my magic dreams.
I'm not shitting on all of your magic dreams.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
I agreed with the fact that you're right, that there are no real famous female magicians.
Yeah.
My issue with it is the male ego might not accept a female magician. So we have to, work on it. I think someday we might be willing to, but I think there's too many men.
I think men have somewhat gotten over that by now.
No, they haven't. Everything that you think men... Just me. I am the most progressive, most intelligent, most forward-thinking man in this room.
I was saying that you have not gotten over that.
Oh, no. I've gotten over it. I would
said.
love to have a female magician. Because first off, that woman makes a lot of money. Means I can sit around and just focus on my music career and my beats.
Oh my God!
And, because I want to create like a beat laboratory in my huge mansion paid for by my female musician wife.
So we should just stop this podcast so that you can, take off with your beat career.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I do comedy. It's the whole reason I do internet radio.
So you can meet people.
And so you can meet the big movers and shakers
and launch yourself.
Because if there's anything that you think of when you think Mike Sasson, it's, of course, the next wave of hip-hop music.
Yeah, I can see it in your face.
Absolutely.
I feel like you'd be like the tallest DJ.
Snoop is about my height.
Okay.
He's 6'4", 6'5".
Maybe like...
Me and Snoop.
Most football player-looking DJ.
Yes, the most football
That's
player
what you'll get at the awards.
Yeah. The most when they at the DJ awards,
the DJ superlatives,
the DJ superlatives, they'll be like, and coming up next is the DJ that looks most like he should be playing offensive guard for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's just me in the category. But I think they'll somehow just screw me out of it, and I'm like, let me see if I can win. You're right. There's not a lot of jack dudes, like huge 6'4" dudes.
I like the. Okay.
No. You like that?
Nothing.
What's wrong with the word jacked?
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
What's wrong with you? You have a problem with it. You're
no,
smiling.
I just thought it was funny.
Why? Of course it's funny. It came out of my mouth. I'm a comedic genius on top of my beat laboratory experiments. But do you have another better word than jacked? Like
no, it's not the word. It's
okay. Just the way I said it.
Yeah.
It's just me. I'm just a hilarious, just little fuzzy teddy bear with a new haircut. Which, by the way, this is the most... I got the haircut yesterday on Sunday. It's now Monday night if you're listening to this on the internet. Here's the one thing that I thought was most interesting is people, when you get a new haircut, will come up to you and be like, oh, so did you get a haircut?
No.
What else could I be? What else could have happened to my hair? What else? See what you just did if you saw me on Facebook Live. She just said, hey, don't touch anything. But yet she wants me to dance to music.
I want you to dance back behind the table.
If I move,
I was dancing and not shaking anything.
I understand, but you are a very petite young lady. I am a giant bear-looking human being, and so we have to work on that. But
you know what I hate about my hair is people they either won't say anything, like they know, or they will be like, "Oh, did you dye your hair?" Yeah. It's just silence. Like I like it, just nothing.
I always comment on how much I like your hair.
Not you.
I know I don't matter. I don't know.
Saying other people. It's like, I know you notice, and you either don't say anything or you say something, but you don't say that you like it.
You know why?
You're just saying that.
I'm telling you right now, I'm looking you straight in the eye. You know why? Jealousy.
Yes.
Jealousy. Jealousy is just, hate is just love mixed with jealousy. That's all it is. And that's where you get the people that hate. But you know what you don't get with hate? Is bar thoughts and experiences. Thank you very much, Alex, for bar thoughts and experiences. Next up is my segment to shine. It's 5 takes, which is essentially just bar thoughts and experiences, only from a sober human being. Play the music. Again, it's 5 Takes. It's the Mike Sasson Show's answer to bar thoughts and experiences, where a sober man just essentially just tells you what exactly is on his mind, other than the fact that I'd have an hour and a half long program weekly. All right. So I'm driving up 79.
Okay.
Everything's going great.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, 79 becomes a parking lot. So I'm thinking, it's June. It's Western Pennsylvania. It's time for for people to be fixing the road. So I'm thinking I'm going into some sort of construction area. But I see off on the other side of 79. We were going north on the south side. There was a major accident. But as soon as we pass the accident, we all start moving again.
Right.
There was no reason for the traffic jam.
Everyone wanted to look at the accident.
It was sympathy traffic.
Yeah.
It was us telling the other side, hey, since you're going slower, we need to go slower. I don't like it. I think that's what's wrong with this country is we do sympathy traffic. We sit there and say, oh, you can't run as fast as me. I'll slow down. Oh, you're not as smart as me. I'll make it that you don't have to compete with me. You know what? I want to inspire the people on the other side of 79. I went faster. Because I said, hey, someday you'll be going as fast as me. That's what I think improves society. That's why I say one of the tenets of the Mike Sasson Show is we don't like sympathy traffic.
Hey.
What?
Well, I don't agree with that.
Well, why?
Because I like sympathy everything.
But sympathy traffic, you're sitting there, everyone's late.
But I know I do it, so I have to. I wanted to start keeping, like snacks and little bottles of water in my car so that when anyone has an accident or they're broke down on the side of the road, that I can stop on the side of the road and like, here, do you want some water? Do you need to talk it out or anything?
And that's how Alex eventually gets hurt. Because you never talk to those people, because I've seen too many movies that's how they lure people in.
I'd be fine with that's how I die.
That's how you look. That's how they lure people in. That's dangerous. You should never do that. Those people, they could be maniacs. They could be crazed people, and they lure you in, and then all of a sudden you're in a cult, you have a shaved head, and we don't see you until you're 50 years old. That's how it happens, Alex.
No.
Don't do that.
I'm okay with that's how I die.
You know what? I care about you, Alex, and I don't want to have to find another producer, because it could take me a couple days, and I don't want to...
A couple days. It would take you a long time for anyone to sit through this.
I know. It's a difficult problem. But here's the thing. Don't do that. Okay. Number 2 on 5 Takes. Do you think that if there's ever been a plastic surgeon that's working on a woman who has a really problem with her face, and it would cost her like $25,000 to fix her face, like to get like new teeth or like nose job and all that kind of stuff. Do you ever think if like the woman goes, well, I don't really have that much money, that the doctor would sit there and be like, well, why don't we just do breast implants and so no one notices?
No.
I think that the cost-conscious plastic surgeon would recommend that if there's massive issues with the face,
don't they want as much money as they can get?
Well, sometimes if the woman comes up to you and goes, hey, I only have $5,000, what can you do with my face? They'll sit there and be like, boob implants. That's what we can do.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If I was more of a plastic surgeon for people who maybe had limited funds, I would sit there and be like, we can do things with the face. We can do the nose job. We can fix the teeth. We can do all that kind of stuff. But it'd be much cheaper if you just had big boobs. Because in my life, I have met women that it took me a couple months to realize that there might have been a little bit like their faces were a little bit off, because they're just their other aspects of their bodies were just so extraordinary that it took me a while. That's why I think if you're a little cost conscious and you're a woman, the bigger boobs can kind of overcome anything like that. Number 3. You know how like sometimes when someone's beautiful, they always go, oh, well, she's a Pittsburgh 8. But she's an LA 6.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about that before, right?
But here's my thing. Why don't we judge intelligence that way? Because there's certain parts of the country that are, there's certain parts of the country where really dumb people migrate, just like there's parts of the country where there are beautiful people that migrate. Why don't we sit there and say, oh yeah, he's a Texas, superintendent of schools, but he's a Boston janitor. Like he sits like we
janitors
judge.
Can't be smart.
Well, only if they do. And janitors are hugely smart up in Boston because of Good Will Hunting. If you've ever seen that, that's how it happens. Because here's what I was doing. So at my job, I had training, and there was people from other parts of Pennsylvania. And I started to notice that if you're from like maybe a small town and you weren't surrounded by a lot of intelligent people, you get a confidence about you that maybe you're a little smarter than you actually are. It's the same thing that if you're like, you're an attractive man or woman and you're from like a small high school, you might think that you're a little bit more attractive than you are because you're not in a bigger town. So that's why I think we need to evaluate intelligence just like we do beauty by saying, yeah, it's a central Pennsylvania, school teacher, it's a Pittsburgh janitor. Also, I think we can also judge them by Tom Hanks movies.
Okay.
Like you sit there and be like, well, he's a Apollo 13 in Johnstown, but in Wexford he's Forrest Gump.
Right.
Like we do that. Yeah. I think those are the two.
Works.
Yeah, those are the two ideas I have. I have a theory.
Okay.
Okay. This year, most of the movies have completely sucked in terms of summer movies. Nothing's really good. Wonder Woman's kind of been head and shoulders above everything else. When I was growing up, every year there was a Schwarzenegger, a Stallone, a new Die Hard, a Van Damme, a Steven Seagal, a trained ass-beater movie. There's no more trained ass-beater movies. It's all been replaced by superhero movies. And so I started to think about it. And here's why I believe there are now more superhero movies than trained ass-beater movies.
Why's that, Mike?
Young kids like the origin stories of superheroes. Basically, their thought process of, let's say you take an origin story of a Schwarzenegger. What's his origin story? He was living in a nothing hut in the middle of Austria after World War II with no running water. He decides for the next 20 years to lift weights and consume large amounts of protein, and that's how he became Commando, Predator, all this kind of stuff. What's Spider-Man's origin story? He got bit in the ass by a radioactive spider. So that to a kid goes, hey, I could do that.
That could be me.
Yeah, that could be me. Schwarzenegger, Stallone, those people work hard. Those people have discipline. No, I want my dad to die and, I just put on a suit. That's all. That's why, again, it's again part of one of the reasons why this country's going to hell is because people do not have enough trained ass beater. I had a friend of mine, okay, who I told this theory to. He said, yeah, that's why one of my friends had cancer. And so he was having chemotherapy. I asked him to take a spider in to see if he could get like radioactive so that possibly I could become Spider-Man. That's where we are in the world right now where kids are saying, yeah, I want to get bit in the ass by radioactive spiders. Now, my final take.
Okay.
I was reading the story of Maya Angelou. I don't know if you realize this, but when she was young, to make ends meet, she was a prostitute. Okay? Now, it's like, I'm a comedian. If you would have said, when I was a salesman 15 years ago, hey, was Mike a funny salesman? They'd say, oh, absolutely. He was a funny salesman. We're not surprised that he became a stand-up comic. Do you think that Maya Angelou, when she was a prostitute, had really eloquent dirty talk?
Yes.
Like she was very...
Absolutely.
Like she was very, and it wasn't just big words. It was inspiring. Like after you ejaculated, you were just like, yes, and now I feel better about myself and the world. So you would say that Maya Angelou, when she was a prostitute, was a very eloquent, dirty talker.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, that was my 5th take. That was 5 takes. Thank you very much. We're going to take one more break, and then we're going to come back with the big question. Also, news and notes and poop on you. It's the Mike Sasson Show. We'll be right back.
Come on, go! It's green! Come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down with the road rage.
I'm sick of these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water.
Bicycle Heaven.
The Mattress Factory.
Tuck Knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on, come on.
Right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to The Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
You're listening to The River's Edge. at www.riversedgepgh.com. It's the Mike Sasson Show. My name's Mike Sasson. That is Alex Clemens, producer extraordinaire. We are in the Mr. Smalls.
The Mr. Smalls.
I was told not to
it's
call it the theater.
everything.
It's a complex. It's a giant complex of art, music, and right now we're in the middle of it. We thank you very much. Obviously, if you didn't hear, Millvale Studios had a fire last week, so our home for right now is Mr. Smalls. And that's why right now we're going to be discussing the big question.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or
That's our new theme song.
Really?
Just that. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, let's do it together. 1,
No.
2, 3.
gonna
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we have a theme song, don't we? Again, it's the big question where I delve deep into the subconscious of Alex and we figure out what's actually going on in that head right there. Okay, Alex, here's the question. I want you to put your thinking cap on.
It's always on.
Always on.
Called a brain.
Okay. Genius switch, never in the off position. So, if you had a choice.
Okay. Are these? We're gonna do a lot of would you rather from now on, right?
Well, I found a website that has these, so it makes it better not to
So
think.
you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Would you rather
Yes.
have the ability to speak every language on the planet fluently,
Ooh.
or be able to play every musical instrument at an expert level?
Language.
Why?
Not even a thought.
Why?
Because then I wouldn't have to worry about going anywhere. Like my biggest fear when I'm traveling anywhere is that I'm not going to be able to speak to that other person. And I think it'd be so awesome to be able to speak to anyone that you meet, no matter what. You have no difficulty with it. You know, any person that you would ever meet in your life, you would be able to talk to.
See, I've thought about this a lot because obviously it's the question I asked. I keep coming back. The brain says what you said. It would be great for business. It would be great to communicate with people. But the artist in me won out, and I said to myself, I'd rather do and be able to play guitar at an expert level.
See, I can't play any instruments now, so
But imagine you could pick up a guitar. You could pick up an electric guitar and you could jam on that electric guitar like you were a combination of Eddie Van Halen and Jimmy Page. You could pick up drumsticks and you could sit behind a drum set and you could play the drum solo from Tom Sawyer like you were breathing. You could play the piano like you were Beethoven. You were an expert at one of them unbelievable way to really kind of explore your artistic mind and everything like that.
No.
You just want to be able to talk to natives and make sure that they know.
Yeah, then I can travel anywhere in the world.
And know where the bathroom is, and as they say, rude things to you.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why, to me, honestly, I think that's why this is really a big part of what type of person you are. Again, the difference between you and me. You, again, more of the practical person. Me, the artist. The artist wants to play music. And you want to just visit countries and know where the bathroom is.
That sounds really rude towards me.
Yeah, it meant
Alex,
that way.
you're not creative, and how dare you want to go anywhere besides Pittsburgh? That's
Absolutely
stupid.
Not. No, you can go to other places just as long as, I mean, I'm not saying don't learn any language, but I'm just saying I would rather be able to play.
Well, see, I'm more of a
music.
people person.
I agree. I don't like talking to anybody.
Exactly.
I want to talk through my music.
That's where it comes.
Again, that's why I want to talk about my beat laboratory.
You might be able to pick up ladies easier, too.
With the music.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You might be able to pick up ladies, so that would be good for you.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I need. All right. That was the big question. Again, learning more about Alex and Mike every day. But now we go. It's a topsy-turvy world in 2017, and there's one person that makes all the sense in the world. It's Crappy the Poop, as we bring him over to Mr. Smalls and poop on you.
He totally didn't show up for this.
Of course he didn't. No way we're going to get him to show up at 9 o'clock on a Monday.
No.
He is so high right now. It's incredible.
That's what he's doing?
He's getting so drunk and high. He is knee deep in tie hookers. It's incredible the life that Crappy the Poop lives. He's almost getting too big for this show.
He really is. But maybe, I don't know. He'll come around someday.
He'll come around. Okay, so show the picture. I think I sent a picture of two gentlemen with their son. It's a Campbell soup ad in which basically it's actually a Star Wars ad. And essentially one of the dads says, I am your father. And then the next one goes, I am your father. And, and it's a nice ad. It's for soup, all that other kind of stuff. So you're saying, Mike, who are you pooping on? I'm pooping on the people that then went on Campbell's Soup Twitter page and Facebook page and said to Campbell's Soup, why are you trying to shove an agenda down our throat? Why are you trying to, tell us about all of this stuff? Like someone said it was a deprived sexual thing. And then the funny thing is that I got to get this job. Because like we did a story a couple weeks ago about Wendy's, Twitter person.
I know, yeah.
Now there's a Campbell Soup person that's talking crap on these people too.
Just as sassy.
Yeah, it's just as sassy, sitting there going, I don't know what commercial you saw, but it's a commercial with they're bringing up, this is a weird, perverted, sexual thing. He's like, it's a boy, his dad's, and soup.
They literally said something about they were like, it's not like we're showing anal penetration or something. Like they even talked about that. They went very much into detail because the one person called it pornographic.
Yes.
That they were showing that.
A thing about two dads and their son over soup, and some guy brought up pornography.
Yeah.
So again,
that's
poop on those people, and you know what? I'm gonna bring them out. Poop on Crappy for sitting there saying that after the fire, then maybe that we're not big enough anymore.
I think that fire really hit him emotionally.
Has he been sober since?
No.
Jeez.
It really hit a chord with him. I think that in one of his past lives, or maybe in his childhood, something with a fire might have happened. Mm-hmm. And now it's just really hitting him hard.
I hear you. Well, Crappy, just so you know.
It's a tough world.
Just so you know, we're here for you. But if you miss one show, you're fucking fired. Again, do you have anybody to poop on?
I do.
Who are you pooping on?
This is kind of family related.
Okay.
I don't think they're watching, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Why wouldn't your family watch? This is a wonderful show.
No, this is my cousins.
Oh, okay.
But so I'm not pooping on them. I'm pooping on a large number of people.
Okay.
But so we were all hanging out yesterday, all my family, and we had a discussion. My parents have been cleaning out a lot of their house, and everyone calls my dad and also me, because I take after him, hoarders, because we like to keep things that mean things to us, And so we had this whole long discussion. Everyone was getting mad at us about stuff, and then we were naming all of the other hoarders that are in my family. And, I thought about it, and I was like, as long as we aren't, living with, rat feces all around us and, in the kitchen, and as long as we aren't, impeding on anyone else's life, we're still living a very happy life. Like me and my dad are, we live good lives. We're happy people. And I don't think it has any effect on our lives or anyone else's. So we should be able to keep all of our stuff and poop on the people who are very against keeping stuff. I understand we shouldn't be materialistic, but I like to keep things that have memories.
Okay, there's a difference between keeping things that have memories and then keeping every Pittsburgh Post-Gazette since 1992.
Right, so we're not bad.
Okay.
Bad. I mean, I don't. My dad did collect vacuums for a little while.
Okay, that's
I think
bad.
He's gotten over it a little bit. We cleaned out one of our things downstairs. There was about 5 vacuums in there.
Okay.
Parts,
Just parts? Okay, what type of vacuums does he get? Because I'll be honest with you, my mom's the same way with vacuums. She will not spend more than $70 on a vacuum.
I don't know.
And I try to explain to her that if you got one $300 vacuum that lasted for 5 or 6 years, as opposed to getting 2 $70 vacuums every year for the next 3, there's actually going to be more value.
But that's the thing. It's not that it's like that they worked and then he would just replace parts in them. So he just had a bunch of ones that he was keeping for parts. These were some of them were very, very old, and he just didn't throw them away. He would get a new one eventually, but he would just replace parts and stuff.
Here's what I would say. If it doesn't affect anyone else, then you're right. Poop on them. But sometimes to the people that we love, we don't express that it is affecting them until it's too late. And then your man's out the door, and now you're searching the world for a new man, and that's why you got to learn all those languages.
If my man leaves me for that, then goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. That's right. That. Do you have any more people to poop on?
No, I'm okay.
That was pooping on you with Crappy, who's not here because, again, he thinks he's too big for the show. Now we go to news and notes. Live from Mr. Smalls here. We can't say theater. We're not in the theater. We're in the bowels. We're in the complex. This is like a giant complex. This list kind of took my got my attention. It was actually, we were going to do it last week, but then again, the whole theater blew up. Here's a list. This is from the makers of Magnum condoms. They released the cities in which the highest percentage of men purchased Magnum condoms.
Oh, so this isn't really correct then?
Well, okay, let me ask you that question. That was a thing that the people brought up in terms of this survey. They said that this was just the place where they bought the most. So you're saying
this is where the men have the biggest egos.
Oh, okay.
Is what it actually is.
All right. Have you ever dealt with a man that bought Magnum condoms and clearly didn't need
Yes.
to? That's a common thing because they said
it's not a common thing, but I have experienced it.
Oh, I was reading up on this. They say that even the makers of Magnum condoms say really only about 3% of men actually need Magnum condoms.
Right.
And if that was true, their sales would not be anywhere near that they need it. But of course, people, again, want to have it on the dresser when the woman walks in, like, hey, I wear Magnum condoms. But these are the cities that then they advertised as the cities with the most well-hung individuals in the country. And number one is Columbus, Ohio. Now, you're saying they're not the most well-hung. They're just the people that ultimately need to feel like they're the most well-hung, so they purchase the most Magnum condoms.
Yes.
Okay, number 2 is Denver, Colorado. Number 3, Chicago, Illinois. Number 4, Atlanta, Georgia. Number 5, Tucson, Arizona. Number 6, Newark, Delaware. Number 7, Phoenix, Arizona. Another Arizona. Number 8, Boston, Massachusetts. And number 9, even though they didn't put the H, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the 9th biggest market in the country for Magnum condoms. Does that surprise you, Alex Clemens?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Thank you for taking a stand there. All right.
I'm glad that we're supposedly that, but I just don't feel like it's accurate.
You don't think that men in this fair city are packing heat?
I don't know. I haven't seen enough other cities. Junk.
That's what that's what we're going to send you on. We're going to send you on.
Yeah, they should have done the survey that way.
Alex's journey to find junk. That would be your thing. It'd be a hoarding. That's what you should hoard. Pictures of men's junk.
Wow,
Boom.
then that would be weird and probably definitely affect the people in my life.
Yes, but you know what? I think there's a part of you that wants to do it. Next up, Kate Beckinsale, beautiful woman, 43-year-old actress, is with a new man, and it's actually making huge news, and it's actually making huge news in the comedy world because he's dating a 21-year-old kid from Ohio who's out in Los Angeles named Matt Rife, who is a stand-up comic. Now, whose picture do we have right now?
Depends. Whose do you want?
Okay, go with Kate Beckinsale, so everyone's minded.
Hey, girl.
All right. Pretty attractive woman, big-time movie star. Think she was in like Pearl Harbor, and she was in those movies.
How old is she?
43 years old.
Oh, good.
Okay? Now show the picture of the dude.
His eyes are pretty.
21-year-old.
He actually looks like a pretty version of someone I know.
Okay. So you're saying that you know someone that isn't very pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're pretty. It's just like he looks like a prettier version of them.
Yes, there's a more advanced, a Kate Beckinsale dateable version of that guy that you know.
But his eyes, though, that is a good shirt for him.
Now, let me ask you this question. 21 years old, 43-year-old woman.
Yeah.
You're all for that.
All for it.
When you're 43 years old.
She wants a 21-year-old.
There you go. When you're 43, will you be with the 21-year-old dudes?
That's a little bit different.
Why is that?
Because, I don't know.
Do you have a goal to someday when you are in your 40s and you obviously, you're
It depends. It would, I don't, we were talking about this at dinner yesterday. It's about love,
Now you're going to be, when are you going to be starting to sing Beatle lyrics? I mean, what are you talking about?
Age isn't a thing.
Age isn't a thing.
I mean, age is a thing, but it shouldn't matter when you're thinking about those types of things.
Exactly. That's what I tell. But so
then you're limiting your range of people that you could sleep with. Why would you ever want to do that?
Absolutely.
Why would you ever want to limit yourself?
Preach.
Yeah.
Preach, Alex. Preach. When you're 43,
Okay.
you're going to be with the most. You're going to be with every 21-year-old dude.
And he's funny, right? Is he a good comic?
No, not at all. I'm kidding. I saw his stand-up.
As long as he's pretty.
That's
what they say about women, right?
Very
So-
ally. I don't say that about female
Not
comics.
you.
I'm not a dude. Anyways, I would say that he's passable. I did watch his 5-minute set he's a very LA comic.
I'm going to watch him.
Yeah. I mean, you tell
Because
me
our
if you think
humor
it's
is
funny.
very different.
Yeah. Our humor is what is my humor, would you say?
I don't know. It's just like our taste in humor is different.
Really? Like, for instance, in
Yours is
terms
loud.
of... I'm loud. Yes, that's not
Your
a type
taste
of
in-
humor. That's not I don't know if that's a type or just...
I don't know.
Who knows? Here's what it's basically coming down to, folks. Alex doesn't find me funny. All right, let's move on. I was blasting The Rock a couple weeks ago because he continually makes shitty movies. So he made the shitfest movie Baywatch, and the one thing that he got all upset about was that he feels that Rotten Tomatoes ruined it. Because
I'm sure it did.
Because all the critics came out, they said it's a complete shitty film, and so The Rock came out and said, "Hey, this movie wasn't for the critics. This movie was for the fans."
It was just so that people could watch a bunch of hot people in great bathing suits.
Okay, but can't you write
That's
a
it.
script in which you basically make it to where there's hot people in
No,
bathing
then it's
suits?
distracting from the hot people in bathing suits. If it's a good thing, all you want to just turn off the sound, take a look.
Okay, then that's a movie that should have gone straight to Netflix, not gone into a giant theater. So guess what?
How did it do numbers wise?
Domestically terrible. Overseas, where they can't understand English anyway, it's doing pretty well.
So it should have just been a silent film.
It
is
should
what
have
you're
been.
saying.
They should have made it like a Charlie Chaplin special. Well, Adi Shankar, he's the showrunner for Castlevania on Netflix, basically sat there and said, "Hey, Rock, the problem isn't Rotten Tomatoes. The problem is you keep on making shitty films."
Because people have heard of Castlevania.
Well, okay, now you're going to shit on him?
Yeah.
Okay. I personally think The Rock needs to stop making shitty movies and start making some trained ass beater movies.
Also, he's kind of scary looking.
Of course he's scary looking. He makes a TV show called Castlevania.
Why you got to wear makeup like that, bro?
Because, again, it's all about the motif. It's all about the art. And The Rock personally needs to make more trained ass beater movies. I want him to make another Commando. I want him to go to a country and kill everybody in that country. That's how movies used to be made, and now I want them back. All right, next up. New York State has put up $5 million in incentives to encourage television production in the state of New York to hire female and minority writers.
Oh, wow.
Great, whatever. So a magazine or an online magazine, The Wrap, showed a picture of Lena Dunham to advertise the fact that, or show that, hey, more female writers. And so they show, hey, this is a show that was filmed in New York and there'll be more of this and all that kind of stuff. But show the picture.
I will.
There's arrows pointed at it.
Did they advertise it like that?
No, they did not show the arrows were put on later, but essentially, if you notice right there, Lena Dunham is grabbing a guy's junk.
Is she though?
Well, it's fake junk.
Okay.
So, but it's supposed to be that she's grabbing a writer's junk. He's grabbing a writer's dick. And so the point being is maybe the people who put out the website, The Wrap, should try to find a picture of Lena Dunham when she is not grabbing fake rubber dicks.
It was like it doesn't even look real. It looks, if that was a real penis, I feel so sorry for that man.
Well, because for instance,
it's a weird looking penis.
It's a weird looking
It looks
penis.
like she just kind of stuck her thumb through the rest of her fingers. That's what it looks like. Yeah, no. I guess they could have put a different picture.
Yes.
But then I feel like that gives more power to me. And it caught your attention. So it's going to catch the attention. That's the whole part of an advertisement.
So you're
that
thinking,
it catches your attention.
So what you're saying is more advertisements need penises.
Yes.
Okay, that's the Alex
That's it.
Clemens special. More dicks in advertisements. We're learning a lot about Alex as we sit in a kitchenette. Like, I think my mom's going to bring us Hot Pockets and cocoa.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
I don't like Hot Pockets
she hates
anyways.
us. Anyways, now the next story is a guy who claimed someone came up to him and said that he had the worst Tinder profile of all time. He is in front of a giant truck.
Yeah.
If you want to show that picture, he's 21 years old. And here's essentially what the Tinder profile says. It's Dustin. He's 21 years old. He says, well, I'm a fat fuck with a big truck.
He's not that fat.
Well, he claims I guess it probably rhymed with truck. If we can't get a big greasy burger, then we won't work. I'm 21 years old, but don't let that fool you. I have no social life. I'm like 40. If my truck doesn't impress you, my personality probably won't either. Welcome to the shit show.
Love it.
Now, here's the thing. A woman put that on her Reddit with the caption, worst Tinder profile ever. But you know what? A bunch of women then read it and said, no, I would absolutely swipe right on this guy.
How honest.
So you're saying, you look into the camera for all the guys who's sitting there saying, how do you get the women on Tinder? You're saying, go with the honesty.
Yeah.
Look in the camera. Make sure that you're talking
Go with
to
the honesty, guys. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Sit there and say,
That's
hey.
all women want is, you to be honest and you to listen.
Honest and listen.
He should put that on his thing, though.
What?
That he listens.
That he listens? But
Just
what if
at
he
the
doesn't
bottom.
listen?
I'm also a great listener.
But what
and
if
then
he doesn't?
that's all you have to say. I feel like at the bottom of every guy's Tinder profile, you should say, I'm a great listener.
What percentage of men
Sounds great.
have you ever dealt with that are actually great listeners?
No one.
Okay, but what constitutes a great listener?
What do you mean?
For instance,
Someone who's not distracted, you're not a great listener.
What are you talking about? I remember everything. I listen to everything you say.
Just because you remember it doesn't mean that you're a great listener.
So you essentially just want a man that just nod his head and go,
No, that's annoying.
Okay, so what should
Just
a man do?
don't say anything while I talk, and then respond afterwards appropriately.
Okay, so you're saying the key to being a good listener
is you're not distracted.
Okay.
You're full front there.
But I'm full front there.
Yeah, but you're also thinking about all the things that you're going to say next to me.
But you have to understand, my computer
Or you're just
works...
interrupting me.
Exactly. But here's the thing. My computer runs so fast that I'm listening to you. It's not like I'm sitting here I could repeat pretty much almost everything you've said over the last hour. But, again, great listener. But, again, I got to, we're having a conversation. So you don't want men to have conversations. You just want them to sit there, look pretty.
No, we want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you should put that on your Tinder profile. It'll work better for you.
What? Great listener?
Yes, the thing that we've been talking about for the past 5 minutes.
That's why I'm such a great listener. I know that you said be a great listener. Next up, I thought this was funny. The Supreme Court last week said that if you could copyright a phrase that someone thinks is offensive. Like, for instance, they call this the Washington Redskins rule. So show the band with the Asian individuals.
Yeah.
All right, so you'd think that the Washington Redskins, because for years the Washington Redskins were thinking they might lose their trademark because people say that the term Redskin could be viewed as being offensive. Well, they didn't bring up this lawsuit. These guys did because their name is the Slants. So I think that's an interesting. They're sitting there going, you know what? We're Asian. We want our band name to be the Slants.
It's weird because it's like they're naming themselves.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But someone said you can't trademark it because I find the term slants to be inappropriate, even though it's, the people who are saying we're claiming the name back from people that try to degrade us.
What if I tried to name my band like Penis Monkeys?
I think how is that? That's the thing. Is that offensive to someone?
Right, it might be.
To monkeys, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing. I personally would go see the Penis Monkeys.
Thank you.
We should interview the Penis Monkeys when they come to Mr. Smalls.
Oh, we will.
All righty. Do I have anything else from that Supreme Court? This? Nope. That is it for the Mike Sasson Show. Well, we did it.
We did do it with the smell of campfire in our noses.
The smell and campfire in our noses. Alex doing 37 things at once. Us sitting at a kitchen table in the bowels of Mr. Smalls. Again, thank you very much for Mr. Smalls for allowing us to have this space. Thank you to everyone in the Pittsburgh podcast community for their support. Thank you to Brian to having the River's Edge. Thank you to everyone who supports us. Thank you for everyone that has given us the great, I've gotten a lot of messages saying, hey, thinking of you, all that other kind of good stuff. But we go strong. Keep listening to local music at www.riversedgepgh.com. Also, go into TuneIn Radio, to SoundCloud, to iTunes, and find all of the great internet radio shows and podcasts from the River's Edge. My name's Mike Sasson. That is the greatest producer in internet radio history, Alex Clemens. We will be back next week We haven't figured out when, because it's 4th of July next Tuesday. We'll figure it out. Bye.